Good afternoon, and welcome to the first match of the 2023 Okaloosa Schools Academic Tournament. This year we have 7 schools from Okaloosa County going head-to-head in a double elimination tournament format. These standout students will be displaying their knowledge of math, science, history, fine arts and literature, pop culture, and more to determine our tournament champion for 2023. I'm your host and moderator, Stella Versweibelt. Lisa Nall will be our timekeeper and scorekeeper, while Eirik Bernal Zeller and Nathan Fiorino will serve as our chief judges and make the final decisions on all things official. Eirik Zeller Bernal is a flight test engineer with a background in mechanical engineering and optimization techniques. He works on the test and evaluation of air-to-ground weapons at Eglin Air Force Base. Nathan Fiorino is a first lieutenant in the United States Air Force, working as a developmental engineer in the Armament Directorate at Eglin Air Force Base. This is his first assignment as an active duty officer. He has a background in aerospace engineering with a bachelor's from The Ohio State University and master's from the Air Force Institute of Technology. Today's teams are from Fort Walton Beach and Choctawhatchee High School. We're going to take a quick break to hear from our Okaloosa schools, and we'll be back shortly to introduce our teams. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and introduce our coaches and team members for today's competition. From Fort Walton Beach High School, our coach is Aurelia Bunescu. Our team is
Kira Quinn, senior.
William Kiker, sophomore.
Alex Parker, senior.
David Starr, senior.
And from Choctawhatchee High School, our coach is Carol Burnich, and our team members are
AJ Burnich, freshman.
Isabella Negrone, senior.
Leora Fallon, junior.
Thomas Carenti, junior.
Now we're going to start with round 1. Toss-up number 1. The subject is history. This nation was once part of a set of 5 neighboring colonies, each owned by different countries. The space center in this country is now the European Space Agency's main launch.
French Guiana.
That's correct. Bonus 1. Fine arts. These answers about paintbrushes both start with F. Part A. This metal piece connecting the bristles to the handle is also a metal piece connecting an eraser to a pencil.
Starts with F.
An F. I absolutely no idea. You want to say a fasten? That makes sense.
Sounds right to me.
Fasten.
That's incorrect. The answer was ferrule. Part B. This brush type, whose bristles are flat at the bottom and rounded at the top, is also a synonym for hazelnut.
I know there's a fan brush, but that doesn't make any sense for us.
Yeah.
If we don't have a better guess, I would go with that.
Yeah, I think so. Fan brush.
That is incorrect. The correct answer was filbert. Moving on to toss-up number 2. The subject is literature. This man, who hosted fellow author Charles Dickens at his New York estate called Sunnyside, spent several years in Spain, where he wrote a biography of Christopher Columbus and began his Tales of the Alhambra. Name this writer, considered the first American to make a living as a writer, whose sketchbook of Geoffrey Crayon includes his stories of Ichabod Crane and Rip Van Winkle.
Irving. Washington Irving.
That's correct. Bonus question number 2 is in social sciences. Name the states that saw these high-profile 2022 U.S. Senate races. A. Democrat Catherine Cortez Masto against Republican Adam Laxalt.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. Alabama.
Oh, Missouri.
Time.
Alabama.
That's incorrect. The answer is Nevada. Part B. Democrat Raphael Warnock against Republican Herschel Walker.
Oh, Herschel Walker.
Missouri. Sounds like New York.
That is incorrect. The correct answer is Georgia.
Oh, yeah, I remember that because I was.
Okay, moving on to toss-up number 3. The subject is math. In linear programming, this point is where two constraints cross each other. For parabola, it is the point where the direction of the parabola changes. Give this term that, in geometry, is the point where two... Choctaw.
Vertex.
That's correct. Bonus number 3 is in the subject of science. This substance has 3 layers: an outer layer to prevent evaporation, a middle layer produced by the lacrimal glands, and an inner layer to spread evenly across the eye. Part A. Name the substance that often produced as a result of deep emotion.
Tears.
No, it's a substance, so it's like a.
I'd say tears.
enzyme
Yeah,
or
Would make
like
Tears. Tears.
That's correct.
Nice.
Part B. A lacrimal gland has 2 parts called by this term. Your brain has 4 of them, and your thyroid has 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wait, thyroid gland. Did you already say gland in the question? Because it might.
Time.
Lobes.
That's correct.
Nice.
Moving on to toss-up number 4. The subject is fine arts. This musical genre is a descendant of the Cuban style called son, with a Spanish guitar and elements of jazz and rumba added in. Some band leaders use this word to tell the band to play faster and get more people dancing. Name the style of Latin music that shares its name with a tomato-based sauce containing chili peppers that is Choctaw.
Salsa.
Correct.
Nice.
Bonus 4. The subject is literature. Name these Trojan women who are characters in the ancient Euripides play, The Trojan Women. Part A. She is supposed to be executed but uses her beauty to convince her husband, Menelaus, to keep her.
Helen.
Yes, that's correct. Part B. This prophetess is to become Agamemnon's concubine but sees that he will be killed by his wife.
Oh, I forgot this one. Do you have any?
Yes, that sounds good.
That's right. This isn't right. This isn't right.
Time.
Penelope.
That is incorrect. The correct answer is Cassandra.
Yeah.
Okay? Moving on to toss-up number 5. The subject is science. The therapeutic type of this technique creates embryonic stem cells with the same DNA as a donor cell, while the gene type produces copies of segments of DNA. Name this technology whose reproductive type puts the DNA of a mature cell into another cell whose DNA has been removed and can eventually create a new animal with the same DNA makeup. Choctaw.
Cloning.
That is correct.
Nice.
Bonus number 5 is a miscellaneous. Answer these about classic TV sitcoms created by Norman Lear, who turned 100 years old in 2022. Part A. This show featured Archie Bunker, his wife Edith, and a son-in-law he called Meathead.
Archie, you know that one show, Arthur? No, it's not that. Simpson. Family Guy.
I think it's
Time.
just Archie. Archie?
That's incorrect. All in the Family was the show.
All in the Family.
Part B. The sitcom Maude starred B. Author, who became more famous later as part of this sitcom about 4 older women in Miami.
Oh, that's Golden Girls. Yeah. Golden Girls.
That's correct. Toss-up number 6 is in social sciences. Her story of courage before the Persian king includes her phrase just before she goes to see him. Quote, "If I perish, I perish." Her successful visit to the king is the origin of the Jewish holiday of Purim. Name this Old Testament woman raised by her relative Mordecai, who after she replaced Queen Vashti, saved her Jewish people from the evil intent of Haman. Choctaw.
Esther.
That's correct. Your bonus question is in literature. His poem, The Death of the Hired Man, tells of a man named Silas who dies on the property of his former employer instead of going to his own family. Part A. Name this American poet who also wrote Mending Wall and The Road Not Taken?
Oh, that's it's not Poe. It's let's just say Family Guy.
Yeah.
Frost.
That's correct.
Nice.
Okay.
Part B. Complete this line from the poem. Blank is the place where, when you have to go there, they have to take you in.
Home.
I haven't heard the poem, but home sounds yeah, home would make sense.
Home.
That's correct. Toss-up number 7. History. This man's 6 children include one who supervises his presidential library, one who runs a nonprofit called Points of Light.
George H.W. Bush.
That is correct. Your bonus is in math. Pencils and paper ready. A 2x2 matrix has a top row of 11 and 4 and a bottom row of -5 and 3. Part A. Find the determinant of the matrix.
Is it 33 plus 20 or 33 minus 20?
Or is it -20? Because -5 and 4.
Don't they subtract so you make it?
I think it's 13.
So we're doing 33 plus 20, so 13.
So it would be 53.
Base is negative, so you make
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So that
So
would
I'd
be
go
53.
53.
Okay. 53?
That is correct. Part B. When finding the inverse of this matrix, which 2 numbers switch places?
11 and 4?
I think,
Think I'll keep them? 11 and 4?
would that make sense? I think
I don't know.
so.
Or negative 5 and 3. It's up to you guys.
Yeah.
Probably
I'll
11
go.
and 4.
I'll go 11 and 4. Sure. 11 and 4?
That is incorrect. It's 11 and 3. Okay. Toss-up number 8 is in social sciences. The Songwe Gorge is one of this landmark's 6 gorges that include 2 connected by a deep pool known as the Boiling Pot. This landmark's namesake bridge crosses over the Zambezi River. Seen by David Livingstone in the mid-1850s,
Victoria Falls?
that is correct. Okay, for Walton, here's your bonus question. It's in science. Give these terms from chemistry. Part A. Adjective for a reaction that can run either forward or backward.
Either forward or backward.
Reversible. I'd say
Reversible's
reversible.
not a bad
Fair.
thing.
Reversible?
That is correct.
Nice.
Part B. A chemical bond created by atoms with opposite electric charges.
Is it just an ion? Like an ionic bond?
Is it not?
Yeah, because a metal and a
That's what I would
non-metal
say.
is
That's
ionic.
what
What were
Yeah.
you
I
going to say?
think it is.
I think ionic bond?
That is correct.
That's the half.
We're going to take a break and we'll come back with the scores. Welcome back. We've got a halftime score of Fort Walton Beach 60 and Choctaw 110. Fort Walton has a substitution and the student will introduce himself.
Harry Lucas, senior.
All right, let's begin the second half. Moving on to toss-up number 9. The subject is literature. After this man's reign over the kingdom of Alba between 1040 and 1057 AD, his stepson Lulak ruled for 6 months before dying. Killed by Malcolm III, the son of Duncan I, what real-life king is most famous today for the Scottish Shakespeare play about him?
Macbeth.
Correct. Fort Walton, your bonus is in history. After he abdicated his multiple thrones in the mid-16th century, he retired to a monastery in Spain. Part A. Give either the Holy Roman Emperor name or the Spanish name used by this monarch during his 40 years as a ruler.
40 years.
You love Rome. Come on.
It's not Roman.
This isn't
It's
Rome. Holy Rome. Yeah, mid
It's
16th
even-
century. So
it's
mid
not Charles
1500s.
II.
I don't think so.
It's Philip the Third.
Time.
Philip III?
That is incorrect. The answer was Charles V or Charles I of Spain. Part B. The Spanish conquistador sent Charles some of the treasures of the Aztec ruler Montezuma.
Is it?
Cortez?
Cortez. Is it Cortez? Okay. Cortez?
That is correct. Toss-up number 10. Subject is miscellaneous. This character's rules for the people he supervised over more than 18 seasons include number 6, never say you're sorry, number 23, never mess with a Marine's coffee if you want to live, and number 22, never ever bother this character in interrogation. Identify this supervisory special agent that until 2021 was played by Mark Harmon on the CBS TV series NCIS.
John.
That is incorrect. Would you like to have a chance?
Steve.
No, that is incorrect.
Chris.
The
Almost,
character was
almost.
Leroy Jethro Gibbs. Okay. Toss-up number 11 is in history. During the 87 years this proclamation was in force, it benefited Protestants much more than Jews or Muslims. After its revocation by King Louis XIV's Edict of Fontainebleau in 1685, this proclamation's beneficiaries moved out of France. What 1598 edict issued by France's King Henry IV granted tolerance to French Huguenots?
Edict of Nantes.
Correct. Choctaw, your bonus is in math. Pencils and paper ready. Answer these problems using exponents. X to the 2/3 divided by x to the 1/4.
X to the 5/12.
That is correct. Part B. Z to the 5/8 to the 8th power. So Z to the 5/8 all to the 8th power.
Z to what's Z times 5? Z to 40/8.
That's correct. Also known as Z to the 5th. Okay. Toss-up number 12. The subject is language arts. An intransitive verb does not need one of these to make sense in a sentence. Give this grammar term for a noun or pronoun affected by the action of a verb that usually follows the verb in a sentence and can be direct, indirect, or the blank of a preposition.
Object?
That is correct. For Walton, your bonus is in social sciences. Answer these about banks. Part A. By the Bank Secrecy Act of 1970, banks must send a form to this federal cabinet department noting any transaction where at least $10,000 in cash was involved.
Cabinet of the Treasury?
Yeah, I think it's the Treasury, yeah. The Department of the Treasury?
That's correct. Part B. The $10,000 limit is to cut down on this crime where money from illegal activities is put into a legitimate business and comes out clean.
Money laundering?
Money
Yeah,
laundering.
yeah, yeah. Money laundering?
That's correct. Toss-up number 13 is in science. Gold and platinum are not generally subject to this process because they resist oxidation. A common example of this process, preventable by painting exposed metal, is when...
Rusting?
No, that is incorrect. I'm going to start the question over for Fort Walton. Gold and platinum are not generally subject to this process because they resist oxidation. A common example of this process, preventable by painting exposed metal, is when iron is subjected to water and oxygen gas until it becomes rusty. Name this chemical process defined as metal deteriorating because of redox processes.
Patina?
That is incorrect. The correct answer was corrosion. Toss-up number 14. The subject is in math. In calculus, this term describes a function x at a point A if the limit of f of x as x approaches a equals f of a. Give this adjective used to describe any graph without jumps, holes, or vertical asymptotes for Walton.
Continuous.
That is correct. Your bonus is miscellaneous. Give these terms used in chess. Part A. This German word describes a situation where a player must move, but the move will weaken his position.
It's Suxwang.
Interesting.
Okay. Suxwang?
That's correct. Part B. A player who wins a rook for a bishop or knight is said to have won this.
An exchange. An exchange?
That's correct. Toss-up number 15 is in social sciences. Some people think Hillary Clinton committed this crime after the 2016 election, while others think Donald Trump committed it after the 2020 election. Legally defined as conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state.
Sedition?
That is correct. Fort Walton, here's your bonus. The subject is science. Give these terms starting with A that relate to the motion of waves. Part A. The energy in a wave is reduced as the wave passes through a substance that does this to the energy, keeping some of that energy within itself.
Absorbs?
Yeah.
Absorbs?
That's correct. Part B. The distance between a wave's rest position and its highest point.
Amplitude.
Amplitude.
Amplitude?
That's correct. Toss-up number 16 is miscellaneous. Born in England and raised in Australia, this singer came to the U.S. in the early 1970s and had a hit with I Honestly Love You. Name this singer, whose passing in 2022 reminded many of her most famous movie role, the girl named Sandy who sings Hopelessly Devoted, Fort Walton.
Olivia Newton-John.
That's correct. Your bonus is in fine arts. Name the original composers of the pieces inspiring each of these satirical titles by composer B.D.Q. Bach. Part A. The Short-Tempered Clavier.
Go with Strauss.
Strauss.
That is incorrect. The answer is J.S. Bach. Part B. Fanfare for the Common Cold.
Oh, that's Fanfare for the Common Man. I have no idea who it's by. You can go with like Debussy if you want to, but that's what I think of.
Sounds cool.
Sure. Debussy.
That's incorrect. It's Aaron Copland. Toss-up number 17 is history. After he arrived in Virginia in the early 1600s, he succeeded in making tobacco a profitable crop. What man, who spent the last 8 years of his life as a member of the Virginia Governor's Council, outlived his second wife, an Indian woman named Pocahontas?
Rolfe.
Correct. Your bonus is in math. Pencils and paper ready. Using pi as needed, give the surface areas of these objects in square inches. Part A. A cube with sides 3 inches.
$18.
That's incorrect. It's 54 inches squared. Part B. A right circular cylinder with length 6 inches and radius 5 inches.
Time.
65.
That is incorrect. 110 pi inches squared.
60 pi.
So that's the end of the match. We'll be back in a few minutes to announce the final score.
I chose to come to collegiate high school because you get free college and your high school diploma at the same time, and that's the best opportunity for any high school student.
I wanted to grow as an individual, and so I decided to move here to not be grouped into these different categories that you'd find in like traditional high schools.
I came to collegiate because I wanted to get used to college work and just being in a college environment before I actually move on to a bigger university.
The thing that makes Collegiate High different from other schools in Okaloosa County is that we're a small school. Students that attend the Collegiate High School are not just a number. We know students by name because of the small school atmosphere.
So what's great about this school is that all the faculty are here to help you.
They want them to excel in their academic life and personal life.
At the other schools, I felt like I wasn't quite being challenged enough in all the fields, but here it's like, you have teachers that teach you well, and they teach you what's going to be applied in the future.
Many students think that if you go to collegiate, you can't play sports, you can't be in music, you can't be a high school student, but I still went to homecoming. I still went to the football games, I had fun with all my friends, and collegiate doesn't take that away from you. It adds on to your amazing personality.
In order to be successful at Collegiate High School, motivation, student motivation. You have to be academically motivated because you'll be academically challenged.
But when you go to a university, they'll see that you're dedicated and you're willing to take the course load that you'll be taking.
Let's say if you come one thought. This thought is that you are unstoppable. Because if you come here thinking, there's going to be too much work, there will be. It's not an easy school, it's a tough school. But you're going to come, and if you come thinking that nothing will stop, you will be successful, and you will be a college student.
Welcome back. We have a final score of Fort Walton Beach 180 and Choctaw 145. Thank you to all the students who participated in today's match, and thank you viewers for tuning in to watch this exciting event. We'd also like to thank our corporate sponsors, Microsystems Incorporated and Master Wall Incorporated. Stay tuned next time for further tournament action, and good night.